What's going on, team? We are back with a vengeance. Welcome back to the podcast, episode number 43. We're going to dedicate this one to a predicament that most people will have found themselves in. It's going to be fitness on the road or fitness while travelling. It's a difficult one. Obviously you've got the option of saying fuck it and just not really caring, not training, not really tracking what you're eating or anything like that, and just living life. And if you are on holiday or going off for a break for a short period of time, then I would suggest that is definitely an option. But if you are someone that travels a lot for work, if you are going on a longer period of travelling and you don't necessarily want to lose all your fitness gains, then it's probably not going to be the best of options for a healthy lifestyle. There are a few main key topics, I think, when it comes to fitness while travelling, and thinking of it as a lifestyle sort of thing. So something that people don't really think about is the mobility side. I know, especially coming over here, like on the 26 hours on a fucking plane, it's you get real tight. You sat down, you're not really doing much. You're not moving around. Your fitness regime is not obviously going to be the same. So your body gets real tight. You get quite immobile. So I think staying on top of the mobility is a massive one. Just 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes in the morning would be brilliant. Stopping every hour or every couple hours or every few hours, depending on when you can fit it in on your travelling schedule, to just move around, mobilise a little bit. I think that's really overlooked, and I think it can cause a lot of injuries further down the line when you try and jump straight back into your training. There'll be a lot of inflamed joints, there'll be a lot of stiff joints, there'll be a lot of shortened muscle fibres, and you're just going to have to work through those sticky areas and open yourself up again and work through that, through the mobility. And I think that is a major thing, and people just, like I said, just overlook it. Obviously, the second pillar is going to be this training. Your training is not going to be the same. Like, there is no way about it. You're not going to be able to get your same training in. If you do, you're going to have to go out of your way to get that done. And if you are a professional athlete or anything like that, then yeah, that might be an option for you. But if you're travelling, if you're on holiday or things like that, and you're with your significant other, you're with your mates, you're with your family, or you're just on your own, you're probably not going to want to do that, because it's going to take time out of that travelling time, or out of that seeing the scenery or holiday time. So you got to be adaptable when it comes to your training. Home workouts are brilliant, or hotel room workouts or anything like that. Something to get your heart rate up. Just being active during the day. That's a brilliant way of just keeping on top of your fitness levels. Is just being active. Going for hikes, swimming. Just doing sport, like just being a human being and moving around, rather than being a lazy fuck and just lying around. Actually just being active and moving around. And maybe when you do get access to a gym, just do full body workouts. Something for your upper body, push and pull. Something for your lower body, push and pull. Something to get your heart rate up. That's it. That's all you need. So if, say for example, I'd go into a gym and I'm travelling, I normally powerlift. I normally do some sort of powerlifting. So I will squat. I will deadlift if I don't feel too tight. If I do feel massively tight, I'll do one of the two, depending on if my hamstrings are open and my hips aren't, then I will deadlift. But if my hips are open and my hamstrings aren't, or my back isn't, then I'll squat. And then I'll do some sort of upper body push. If I feel like I can go overhead, I'll do some overhead stuff. If not, I'll do some bench press, and then I'll do some upper body pull, and then I'll do some sort of lower body pull or lower body push, depending on whether I've squat or deadlifted. And then I'll do some accessories where it'll be, I can either do some abs, do some arms, or whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And then I'll basically just get my heart rate up if I feel like I've not really got that up. A key example would be I actually travelled down and spent about 20 hours in a car. And what I did was I didn't even care about any of that, any of the push pull or the legs or anything like that. I got on a rower I did 4 sets of 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, and each set I had to decrease my 500 meter split by 5 seconds. I've done 4 sets of that. I rested a few minutes, and then I did 4 rounds of 20 cals on the rower and 10 dumbbell thrusters. Again, just opens up my hips, whole body movements, using the heart rate. And then I just did, I think, 2 sets of core. That's it. And that's it. I left the gym. Just get a little bit of a sweat on, just get moving, and just trying to work on a bit of mobility and a bit of cardiovascular health as well, looking after the heart. So I think being adaptable with your training when you are on the road is something that's very important. And CrossFit gyms are brilliant with that because you can do drop-ins, but also other gyms are brilliant at that because you can do drop-ins as well. You don't necessarily have to just drop into a CrossFit gym. And if you've never done it before, then I wouldn't say just drop in, because there is a process that you need to go through, especially with the complex movements. So just being adaptable with how you train, even if that is going outside, doing a bit of a jog, going for a swim, doing a hike or anything like that, you're still being active. Like, don't think of it as training, just think of it as I want to be an active, healthy human. And then the third pillar in this team is going to be diet. All right, this is or nutrition. This is the big one. This is the one that people usually fuck up when they're on the road, and that is where it comes down to education. And actually educating yourself and picking up the thing that you're going to eat and turning it around and reading what's in it, reading the macronutrients, the carbohydrates, the fats and the proteins, reading how much sugar's in it, reading how much saturated fat's in it, reading the actual ingredients itself. Are you celiac? Does it contain gluten, etc., etc.? Like, all these things you don't need a coach to help you with. You don't need to pay anyone. You just need to not be a lazy fuck and just pick the item up and turn it around. And then it's just all about making choices, team. Making choices. Are you going to get that greasy piece of shit that you really, really want, but you've been driving for the past 20 hours, or you've been sat down and not really done anything, or you're going to go for a bit of fruit and some veggies and some lean protein sources and whatnot? Because at the end of the day, food is fuel, and if you've not really been moving, then you don't need any fuel. It's like you fill your car tank up with fuel, so it's full. You put it on the drive, and then you try and put more fuel in it. It's like, well, it's just going to spill out. Exactly. Obviously, there are times when you do what you want, and I think just incorporating something called IIFYM, or if it fits your macros, is something that is brilliant when you're on the road and traveling. So if you set yourself a target sort of thing, you want to eat, say for example, you want to eat 2,000 calories, and you split that up. You split that up to 30% protein, 30% fat, for example, and then 40% carbohydrates. That's just a standard sort of breakdown, and then you break that down from there, because 9 calories a gram is fat, or fat is 9 calories a gram, sorry. Carbohydrates and protein are equally 4 calories per gram. So then you just break it down from there, and it's just simple maths, which I'm not going to do off the top of my head, because maths is not my strong point. But anyway, and then you'd basically just tot it up. It doesn't really matter what you eat out of those things. Ideally, they're going to be nutrient dense foods, so they have a lot of nutrients, a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. But if it comes from, you might eat a pie, you turn it round, and it might have 25 grams of fat in it, maybe 20 grams of protein and 45 grams of carbs, and it comes from a pie. It's not necessarily the most nutrient dense of foods to get down here, but you've also consumed, you got to look at it as like a face value of, you've consumed 25 grams of fat, 20 grams of protein and 45 grams of carbs, and that's what you're going to minus from your overall total. And then you're just going to go from there, and it's just less stress, instead of going, oh my god, I need organic fucking grass-fed this and that. It's like, hold on a minute. Is it going to break your bank? Yeah, probably, so that's not an option. And is it actually sustainable to do on the road? No, definitely not. Okay, well, let's use our brains a little bit, and let's use a little bit of if it fits your macros, or let's just use a little bit of eyeballing. So, okay, I've been moving less. Okay, so I need to consume less food. All right, so I'm going to consume more vegetables than I usually do. I'm going to consume less carbohydrates than I usually do, less fat than I usually do, and I'm kind of going to keep my protein to a lean sources. Boom, there you go. Could drink a load of water. Don't drink sugary drinks, so you don't drink your calories. If you want to have a sweet drink, then have diet drinks or things like that. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and Dick's your mother's brother. You're all done. It's not really that hard. It might take a little bit of willpower to start off with, but everything does, team. Everything takes a little bit of willpower to start, and then once it's a habit, it's a habit. Especially if you are a businessman or someone that travels quite a lot, then I would say you need to incorporate these three things: the mobility, the training, being adaptable, and also just educating yourself and being a little bit more aware of what you're consuming when it comes to your nutrition. Only if you give a fuck about your health and fitness on the road. A lot of people don't, and in the day they're human beings. They're going to do what they want to do, and if you don't necessarily want to do these things and you just want to have a holiday, then go have a holiday. Like, that's absolutely fine. If you're just going for 2 weeks out of 52 and you're like, oh my god, I need to train and blah blah blah, I think you need to get a life. I think you need to appreciate the people that's going to be around you and appreciate the time outside of the gym, so then you can actually appreciate the time inside of the gym when you get back. There are things you can do to be active and healthy. Like, you can go play tennis, you can go play beach volleyball, you can go hike, swim, surf, do whatever, be outside, be active, and also appreciate those people. Not everyone's going to be as obsessed with the gym as a lot of the listeners will be. So I think that time will be to give back to them as well. But if you are traveling quite a lot, you are on the road quite a lot, whether it's in your own country or traveling through countries to country, or you are a businessman, which is inevitably going to be left, right, and centre. Businessman and businesswoman, of course. Like, I'm not necessarily just painting a picture of a bloke here. Then I think these three pillars are going to be great. So mobility, making it a habit every morning for 10 to 15 minutes. Training, being adaptable with it. And then the nutrition side is just educating yourself and being aware and using this if it fits your macros style. But if not, also just reducing the amount of carbohydrates because your activity level is going to be lower. Increasing the water, so your satiation is going to be a little bit higher. Reducing your overall fat just by a little bit. Keeping to lean protein sources, and then just increasing your vegetable consumption. And you'll find that your hunger levels won't be through the roof, and you'll be able to stay on track with your fitness and your health and fitness sort of lifestyle. So team, hopefully that's helped at least a wee bit. If you have any concerns, questions, or topics you want me to cover on the next episodes, then let me know. That is episode number 41, Fitness on the Road. Take it easy. Peace and love. See you in the next one.